All right, here we go. Episode 28, I hope. Chat with Gunner. I think it's 28, if we can do our math right. Yeah, episode 28, Chat with Gunner. So we're just going to jump right into it. Got a special guest coming on today. Reached out to him kind of last minute last week. I saw some cool things pop up on the interweb of Facebook and Twitter and a few wrestling websites and Sports Illustrated, and was like, man, let's check this out. Let's give it a look. His name is Frank Zarrillo. We'll read his Internet Movie Database real quick. Award-winning filmmaker, born in Toms River, New Jersey. I think he's actually in Florida now. Italian and Filipino descent, has been making film since the age of 13 years old. He's passionate about cinema, continues to write and direct his own films while working in the entertainment industry. In his first feature documentary film, The Wrestler, a QT Marshall story, has won Best Documentary at the prestigious San Diego Comic-Con International Film Festival in California in 2017. So Frank, thanks for coming on, man.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Hey, so just tell me a little bit about you. Tell me how you got involved in films and kind of how you met QT and started doing that. I'm just interested to hear the story.
All right, so when I was around 13-ish, my brother used to have like a DVD wall, like a little shelf or whatever, and he had his slew of movies. And at that time, they had like that program where they would send you DVDs, and if you accept them, you send them back, whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember one time the Goodfellas was on the wall. So I put the movie and I watch it, and after I got done watching it, I was just like, oh wow. I was like, you can tell somebody was really in charge behind the scenes, and like instead of gravitating towards the actors, which I mean I do anyways, but the first initial responses, I grabbed the DVD box and I look at the back and it's all right, directed by Martin Scorsese. So I was interested. That's how I got into it. So I kept watching more movies, and I would get his next movie, Casino, turn it around, see the same thing. He's on it. He wrote it, and I would just study who would be doing all those things behind the scenes, and that's where I kind of gravitate towards. So then for my graduation present, I was 13. My dad bought me an RCA camera, and literally been stuck doing that ever since. And I haven't given up it. Yeah.
So pretty much just kind of self-taught, doing everything yourself?
Well, I was self-taught for the most part, yeah. But then I hit a plateau, and it was time to take it to the next level. So then I went to Full Sail, which it's funny because when I was in Full Sail, NXT came in there at the same time I was there. So it's like both of my passions blended together at the same time. It was like perfect timing.
Yeah. So you're a wrestling fan, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So Full Sail, you went to Full Sail. That's one of the most prestigious film schools, right? Out of Florida, or kind of in the States, I would say.
Yeah, I would say in Florida, it's getting there in terms of worldwide. I mean, it's a big commercial place, so. But.
Well, I know I had my WWE tryout. We went to the Full Sail University because that's where NXT's out of. So I've been there. It's a beautiful place.
You went to the Full Sail Live venue, right? That's where you went,
it was great.
Yeah.
So did you do any of that?
That's awesome. No, I only went to the. That's one regret I had. I don't really live in regret, but that was one where you can work behind the scenes. I never did it,
right.
But I did utilize the free tickets that they gave all the time, because I remember at that time Seth Rollins and stuff like that, they were all coming up.
Yeah.
When did you go for the tryout? When was that?
So I had my tryout in June of 2014. So
okay, I just missed you then.
Yes, I went straight out of college, had a football, and then had my tryout as a 3-day deal. We just did like the last day they took us to the Full Sail University to do whatever. Most of the time was at the Performance Center, but
that's awesome. Yeah, you got to experience that.
That's
cool.
So you got out of Full Sail in 2013, or did you go in?
Yeah.
After? Okay.
2013. Yeah, and then after that graduation, my first job out of school was Project Runway. I was a production assistant for a certain, but then after that ended, I was doing stuff here and there, but then I had to do construction work with my family to keep the bills paid and stuff like that. So
right, you got to respect the hustle of somebody trying to chase their dreams and still working another job. A lot of wrestlers are having to do that, independent guys that are out there. I mean, I was doing that for a while, working full time and then traveling Friday, Saturday, Sunday wrestling. So I get it. I respect that completely. How did you come across QT?
My brother Nick was friends with this guy named Preston. This was in Orlando area at the time, like Celebration Orlando area. And QT was working at Planet Hollywood with Preston at the time. and the three of them would go to the gym together. I think it was 24-hour fitness, and they were just acquaintances. He was there, and he had dinner with them, a few times here and there. So then fast forward to 2015, that whole Tough Enough thing came out, and I was interested in, because I always wanted to do like a bucket list thing for wrestling, like to write for WWE or whatnot. And I said to my brother, I'm like, do you still talk to that QT guy? That's the only wrestling in we had. You know what I mean? We didn't know anybody. And he says, yeah. So he shot him a message. And then I was back in New Jersey at the time in 2013. Now back to 2015, I was still in New Jersey. And then I ended up going to the Monster Factory, which is owned by. Are you familiar with the Monster Factory? Or
Yeah, Danny Cage. I talked to that guy when I was in college, so
yeah,
I know that QT has connections up there.
yeah. So just so happened the QT moved there at the same time, so the timing could have been more perfect. And I met him in the Monster Factory, and he said to me, "If you want to, write for WWE, we have connections and whatnot, but you're gonna have to go to school and whatnot." And I said, in my mind, I'm like, I just got out of school not too long ago, and I can't go back again. I'm like, because if I risk doing this, I'm going to spend how many more years until I hit another brick wall.
Right.
So my friend that was with me at the time, he said, all right, keep me posted. QT said, keep me posted, whatnot. So we left. We ended up leaving. We're in the car ride going back. It was about an hour and 30 minutes from Tom's River to Paulsboro, which the Monster Factory was at. And I was living at Tom's River at the time. And as we're driving back, my friend says, why don't we do a documentary? In my mind, I'm like, what is there to do? You know what I mean? Like, just, there was like no idea there. So I entertained the idea like for the next few days. And then, they're saying like the laws of attraction, whatever, you write a list down and like
all about it. Yeah.
If you put that aim there and you're going to get it, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote down a list of, people that I knew. I went on the website and seen like, all right, Blue Meanie's there, whatever. I can't think on the top of my head, but whoever was there at the time, I just wrote their name down on like a Microsoft Word document. I'm like, all right, maybe we can get these guys and if we can do a documentary. So I ended up reaching out to Mike. It was probably, or QT, a few days after that. And I said, would you want to do a documentary? And he says, yeah, sure. Like, and he goes, about what? And I had no idea. And I was like, I don't know. But he goes, well, let me know if you want to do it. He goes, because if I'm not going to be doing this much longer. I'm turning 30 soon. So I'm just going to hang it up. So right then and there, that was the story. I was like, I got it right off of that one message he sent me. And then fast forward, I got a few of my friends and family together. We combined forces. We bought some equipment off of Amazon Prime. And literally, I would say within the next 2 weeks, we were filming. And like the first day, Blue Meanie was there. And then Briscoe, we got there and all that stuff. So it just all happened like that. It was kind of like it was blind luck, I would say. It's like to be ready for the right time. That's what but I was prepared. The thing about it is I was prepared for years because I've been studying the cinema and whatnot. So it wasn't like, oh, I got lucky that. It was a long time of nothing. You know how it is with the wrestling and everything else. Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, just preparation and opportunity kind of meeting together at the same time and taking
Absolutely.
advantage of it. A lot of people have those chances. I've seen them come across many times, and then guys don't act on it, and you just let it slip by. You acted, and you caught it, and you rode the wave. So that's awesome, man. So kind of tell me a little bit about the story of the documentary.
Like what it's about and whatnot, or
yeah, it just got me. So how long did you film it? How long did it take to kind of put it together before you got to the San Diego Comic Con, and just kind of that little process?
So that was we followed him around about 2 years, and there was a lot of changes were happening during that time. Like he was working at Snap-on, and then he quit that, and then he was working at a restaurant called Porta in Asbury Park, New Jersey. So it's like I couldn't, couldn't keep filming. At some point, I was like, all right, we got to put a cap on this,
Right.
And over that duration of time, I was just we started trusting one another and whatnot. He trusted me more, and I told him, I need this scene, I need a dinner scene, I need, you tanning, like whatever. Like it was all built over time with our rapport together. And so after the 2-year run, I said to him, I told him, because I was, speaking confidently, I said, this is going to be a great thing. This is going to make waves. And, I kind of back to the laws of attraction again. I was like, yeah, speaking it into existence. I'm like, I remember at the time, because I have like 4 Snapchat friends or whatever. I don't really use it.
Right.
But I remember screenshotting I'm editing on Final Cut, and I put it's going to be done soon, award after award after award coming. Like I just put that out there. It's like I was confident enough to know that, like not arrogant or anything, but I was like, I had to believe that if it's, I spent all this time doing it, I have to be good at it,
Yeah.
So I told him, and to speak for him, I don't even think that he knew how it was gonna turn out, because wrestling and filmmaking similar behind the scenes, but in terms of creativity and whatnot, like I like for me, I love wrestling, but I don't really know what it takes for what you guys do and all that.
Right.
Like, so after that ran out, I edited the movie. It took me about 4 months, maybe a little less, a little more. I don't remember exactly, but I just started submitting it to festival after festival, and I would get a bunch of denial letters. And so I was like, all right, whatever. I was like real hurt about it. I was like, oh, maybe I really wasted my time and I wasted Mike's time,
Yeah.
And I just kept sending it. And then eventually I came across the San Diego Comic-Con. I had no idea that they even did that, to be honest with you, because it wasn't on Film Freeway.
Right.
So I just kept digging deeper. And then I eventually come across the San Diego Comic-Con Film Festival. So the way that they do it now, I don't know how familiar you are with the way you submit films. It's like a screener link.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I have no clue.
There's a website called Film Freeway or Without a Box. And when you're submitting your film, you already have your film uploaded to a private screener link that you would send to the screener people,
Okay.
And nowadays you just, you send them a link in the email and that's it. And only they can view it or whatever. You give them a certain password. The way San Diego Comic-Con was doing it was you had to literally burn the DVD. You had to put it in the box. You had to go to the post office and send it out, that kind of thing.
Right. Old school.
So I ended up, I remember I went there with my friend at the time, and I did all that. I got this postage, whatever, and I sent it out at nighttime. And like, not to be pessimistic or anything, but I closed the mailbox, and I was like, all right. I'm never going to hear or see from this again.
Yeah, wasted time.
But, yeah, it's like I try to be as optimistic as I can, but at the same time, it's like, I have to be a realist, whatever.
Right.
So a few months later after that, I get an email saying that you got accepted to the San Diego Comic-Con. So I was like, all right, this got to be a mistake. So I literally, I literally emailed the guy back, and he says, yeah. He goes, you're in. I was like, oh, that's cool. And one of the judges there was a brother of the Spider-Man director from the early 2000s, Ted Raimi. And he's in those Evil Dead movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember, I went to the movie theater with my mom and my brother a long time ago, and he was in the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. And I was like, oh, you're watching him. You're a spectator watching him. And then fast forward, a decade later, he's judging your movie. So it was pretty cool.
Right.
So, we went to the Comic-Con, and then I sat in my chair. I was like, this ain't gonna. I was like, the competition was like, there's a author named Neil Gaiman. There was a documentary about him, and he had a star after star in the movie. So I was like, I have nothing here. So I thought it was over. Award ceremony hits, and then they end up calling. I have the video footage of it. It's pretty cool, and they end up calling us up to the thing, and we won. So at that point on, it just started opening doors from here on out, because it's brand association. That's it. That's all they look at.
That's it.
So
that's 2017, and here we are, 2020. Since that time, QT had kind of gotten a little bit back into wrestling.
Right.
Started feeling a little bit better. That's about the time I met QT, probably around 2017. He had just moved to Atlanta. And, and I don't really know him that well at that time. And when we're sitting backstage in the locker room, I've told the story, and he goes, yeah, so I'm going to start this professional wrestling school up kind of like the Monster Factory, but it's going to be like the Southeast version. And you should come down and try it out. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm in Chattanooga. That's like an hour and a half drive every Tuesday, Thursday. I'm just not trying to pay for that right now, to be honest with you. I'm going to do my own thing. Right. Little did I know that, the One Fall Power Factory is going to be a pretty big deal. And he ends up kind of taking over Georgia wrestling as far as training goes. Puts together a nice little place. I think he has like a weight room in there as well.
Yeah,
and then he ends up, he's friends with Cody Rhodes, so that kind of is a natural development in a relationship. And then next thing you know, he's over here helping produce AEW. So that has to help you out and help the documentary kind of get like a second run here in 2020 with him being on national TV, having matches with Gold Dust, and the Rhodes brothers and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
it's great, man. I'm excited for you. That's really cool. When did it kind of take off again? Because I know it's had to take off again. I mean, you're in Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
That's where I noticed you. I mean, if I see something come across in Sports Illustrated, it's like, oh, this is legit. So
Yeah. What happened was, so after festivals, usually it's like a 2-year run. So I was going all over the place. I was getting burnt out from traveling. And I ended up sending my brother to Mississippi. We went to Atlanta, Florida, New Jersey, California, whatever. We're all over the place. And after the 2-year run, you have to get as much exposure as you can get. So I ended up at one of these smaller festivals. I ended up getting distribution, and then that took with all the legal, you have to get everybody's signatures and all that stuff, and you have to get location signatures for everything that you've used. You had to have it signed for.
yeah,
And that prolonged us for about 6 or 7 months, and then once we went through all the paperwork and whatnot, the movie finally got distribution on Amazon Prime and stuff like that, and Barnes and Nobles or whatever. But after that, what I think what really took it off too is when we had a premiere out in Georgia, the 5 Points area. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. There's so much stuff.
you're good, man.
But I had no idea. Me and QT were setting it up, and we had people come in. And Glacier comes in, the Still Real to Me wrestling guy. You remember him, the crime fan, whatever.
Yeah.
He comes popping in. There's like all these. The guy did the NWO voice, the New World Order, whatever. Neil Pruitt. He everybody started popping in. And then Damian Martinez, which was at the time Louis Punisher, he was in the film too, and he showed up to the event. So I had no idea everybody that was coming. And then in the last minute, I see Cody and Brandy come in. I was like, oh wow! I was like, this is getting serious. Like you see, everybody's starting to come in now.
Right.
So once that was another. We just kept me and QT. We just kept taking gambles on these risks. Like we have to do this. Is the only way. It's like the worst can happen is someone says no or whatever. That's really the worst of it. And once we finished screening the movie, me and Mike did a Q&A, and then shortly thereafter, Cody left. He didn't really say anything, so I was like, oh, all right, maybe he thought it was garbage.
Yeah.
But little did I know, not too long after, he really loved the movie, and QT told me that it wasn't the main reason, but it was a helpful reason why he got into AEW.
Yeah.
So it's like because of the movie. So I was like, wow, it's really we really did something special here. We're really touching people from around the world, people that are high up in the industry. But I like I said, the timing of it couldn't have been perfect. Like everything that just happened with it. Like I had no idea that AEW was on the surface or anything like that.
Right.
And then and it just kept taking off. And then we're going to 2019, and my movie came out in October on demand and whatnot. October 22nd, 2019. And then the same day, there's more stuff that you can't really wish for. AEW on the dark, you see QT and you see Cody, and they're talking about the movie on the show. So I was like, wow. I was like, on the same day the movie came out, I was like, and then after that, QT told me everybody backstage started talking about it. Like, he told me Jericho liked it, and then he showed me a text message that what's his name? Gold Dust liked it, whatever. It's like all like the support, and then the ring announcer of AEW, I forgot his name, Justin Roberts, right?
Yeah.
He did a special thing about it, like talking about it. So I was like, man, it just keeps getting breathe it light into it. Yeah. And then all exposure started coming. WrestleZone yesterday, whatever. And I was supposed to do something like an interview with Canoe magazine from Canada or something on Saturday or whatever. But it's just it's like it's not that I don't want to walk. I want to walk away from it. It just keep the thing about art is it goes forever, and it just keeps breathing new light.
Yeah.
And, I can't complain.
No, I wouldn't complain at all, man. It's great publicity, and it's just building your brand each time you speak to somebody. Now you spoke about the law of attraction and kind of the secret. So, Are you a big personal development guy? As far as do you read books? Do you listen to the videos?
Yeah, I read books. Yeah, like Laws of Power, stuff like that. And,
that's pretty cool. Have you
seen I listen to Tony Robbins a lot, and Eric Thomas, stuff like that. I try to flood my head and
with
you know,
positivity and gratitude and
yeah,
all that stuff, dude. That's great. I'm
yeah. See
huge
how
on
you're
it.
doing all that stuff. Yeah, all the stuff you're doing, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm huge. I'm big on all that stuff. So, have you seen the documentary, The Secret?
I only watched partially of it. It was
Partially.
on
It's
Netflix.
good
Yeah,
stuff. It's very similar to the Law of Attraction. I mean, it's all Law of
yeah.
Attraction,
I
to
know
be honest with you.
Ryback had a whole promo on that
Yeah,
years back.
yeah, sure did. All right, man. So I was also looking at some of the things you're doing. I saw some bodybuilding clips that you were shooting.
Yeah, that's my second project now. That was exciting for me because the guy that I'm filming about, his name is Rich Gaspari. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All the Gaspari supplements. Yeah, he's one of the
yeah,
originals. Yeah,
yeah. He's from Tom's River as well, and you know, it just made sense to make this project happen. And it took over a year to get it going. And you know, I told him I was real certain the way I approached him, and I said that you know that we should do this, and you know, I think I can make something great. And I showed him everything I've done with the wrestler and whatnot. And I had a meeting with him. I went to his office. This is going back to last March, I think. And one of the guys that was in Bigger, Faster, Stronger was like his right hand man there. He's actually doing a podcast now, named John Romanix, I think.
yeah,
Rich Gaspari does a podcast now too, and he said, "Yeah, I think this is a great idea. I think we should do it." And you know, we kept in contact over the next course of the year, and then March before the pandemic hit, he posted it up. He goes, "Oh, Arnold Classic is coming up in Ohio." So I reached out. I said, "All right, you know, it's now or never. We got to get this going because we're just going to keep talking about it." So I said, "You know what, Rich?" I go, I can get most of the majority of the movie shot, and we'll fly out to Ohio. I'll bring out 4 or 5 guys with me, and we'll get the movie done." And he goes, "All right." So I booked the tickets, we booked the hotels, everything. We got everything into motion. We just got new equipment. We got a new camera, a new 6K camera, and we're kind of like doing the same thing, but we raised the level
yeah,
from last time. So we then the pandemic thing hit, I mean the coronavirus hits, and I remember it was like we're about 2 days out, and Arnold Schwarzenegger puts a post up on Instagram saying the event's canceled. I was panicking. I was like, oh man, like we just literally set this up for a year and everything paid for. But then a day later, like it was like now is the day of, and they said only media is allowed to come. So I was like, oh, thank God. So as scheduled, we flew out to Ohio. We started filming, filming the Gaspari doc. And little do we know, we go into the Powerhouse Gym, which is a big gym in Columbus
yeah.
section. All of a sudden you see Rich goes, "Come here a second." He goes, I go, "Oh, all right." So I start following with the camera, and all of a sudden, to my surprise, I was surprised. I walk into the next room. Ronnie Coleman's sitting down. He goes, "No, we do an interview with you." I'm like, "Oh, all right." So I was like, he's another bodybuilding hero of mine. So
Oh yeah,
I'm filming him for a minute. So I was like, wow, like I got this 1-of-1 footage. So that's pretty cool. You remember Lee Labrada? He was another supplement guy.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
still,
yeah.
I got him on camera, and then I see Triple H backstage. So it was all surreal. Like I'm backstage at the Arnold Classic, and you see like all of a sudden you see Thor from Game of Thrones coming.
Yeah, the
And
mountain.
I'm like, I'm filming him and taking a picture of his phone with him and Rich. It's funny. And then all of a sudden Arnold walks in. I get Arnold. So I was like, oh man, this is like a very surreal experience that all happened like literally because of sticking with it for 10 years and, my proving my worth with the wrestling and stuff like that. So that was pretty wild, like that whole weekend. But now,
Yeah, now everything has kind of stopped and came to a halt.
yeah.
So were you just filming that weekend like a kind of a road to the Arnold with Rich, or are you doing like more of a long-term documentary with him?
Yeah, we're gonna
Just
do a doc with him. We got maybe 5 or 6 shoots left with him, whatever.
cool.
But we got a lot of coverage for that weekend. That was pretty cool. It was just like
Yeah, that's cool, man. So some of my favorite documentaries to watch are the ones that are on Netflix. It's very bodybuilding. What's the names of them? You know what they are.
Pump and Iron, the original one from the
Well,
70s.
obviously that one. But
yeah, yeah.
what's the new ones?
The new one's Generation Iron.
Generation Iron. They've got
Yeah,
like
that
3 of
guy.
them, right?
Yeah, he cornered the market. That guy's good. He's
Yeah,
pretty much anything bodybuilding, he has it.
yeah, pretty good. So I love watching that type of stuff. I mean, the discipline that goes into bodybuilding. You can think about pro wrestling. Like bodybuilding is an
Right,
aspect of wrestling, kinda for some guys.
right.
to be a bodybuilder, man, that's complete discipline. So, and a lot of
Yeah.
people just like to watch people be disciplined. I mean, they like to watch
Yeah.
people wake up early and do cardio and eat 6 meals a day and count their
Right.
macros and completely transform their body. So that'll be fun, man. Especially if you have Rich Gaspari. I mean, that's having a legend,
Yeah.
a living legend.
It was like a front row access to like the top like that. It was like literally, the first time around with the wrestler, we're doing, we're at the bottom level, we're on the ground floor.
Yeah.
This time around, we're filming, we're at the top of the bodybuilding industry. So it was a night and day experiment. And he asked me too when he was working out. He goes, "So how does this comparison to the wrestler?" I was like, "Well, you're still using your body and stuff like that."
Yeah.
But I go, the major difference or the component, whatever, is the level that he is at. He was $100 million man. His company made $100 million, and so it's just like, and you see him, you're following him around. Everybody stops him, like Mr. Gaspari. The guy's in full body paint and he breaks character. He's like, "Mr. Gaspari, how are you?" It's pretty funny, but it's like he's you couldn't walk 2 feet in that event with him not being bombarded by people. It was crazy, but he's a very humble guy. He took it all with respect and all that. So that was cool to see that.
That's really cool to see. So tell me a little bit about the way you film these documentaries. So you were talking about you got like 5 shoots left. So are you kind of not scripting out what they're doing, but do you have a vision of how you want their documentary based off of what they tell you their life is like, and then kind of just film those scenes?
In a way, yeah. There's a lot to it. It's just like I have an idea of what I want to do. Like I want to go to his manufacturing plant and film his products being on the conveyor belts and stuff like that, and then I'll compare it to an older movie from the 80s or 90s and get the same style with it, whatever it's like. But like I have an idea of what I want to do with it. Like that's where I come up with my shots from the older movies. But like I can't give you the exact, like right now we're chronicling his life and whatnot, but I can't tell you the exact stories because I have to, once it's done, all the footage, I'm gonna have to piece it together and edit it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's where the real work comes in once it's, because the same thing at QT, I had 14 hours of footage. I'm like, all right, where do I begin? Because I never did anything on that scale before. It was just student films and short films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's the way you have to approach it.
Man, I've tried to like do video editing myself, like little 1-minute clips of just like me working out and stuff and putting it.
Right.
I every time I try to attempt it, I bang my head up against my laptop. I'm like, I don't know how these people do it, man. So
I think you could do it though. I mean,
nothing but respect to you. It's completely an art to be. I mean, for me to like want to be able to do something for myself is one thing, but for you to like take somebody else's life, film a bunch of hours, and then put together a story that they like and you like and everyone else likes, that's special, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. And it's funny you say it too, but they like it. That's the thing. I said that to Mike and I said that to Rich. I said that I'm not here to pull punches. Like I'm not trying to like, shed you in a bad light. I'm just, my job is to show the truth of it. And that's what I'm doing with the Rich one. I'm not going to pull any cheap shots or whatever like that. I told him straight up, I said, I'll give you final cut on it. It's like, that's not what's important. I was like, you just have to trust me to let me do what I do. And then, I'll show it to you before I put it out there. And that's the persona that everyone's going to see you as. So I was like, that's the way I have to approach it.
Right. Yeah, that's real cool. It's like a time capsule for them for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you got the bodybuilding thing going on. I'm assuming quarantine and the lockdown has you a little bit shut down. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, I was doing videos for cruise ships and stuff like that, but I can't do that now either. So
yeah,
I'm pretty much my days watch movies and go to the gym, and that's
right. Hey, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, watching movies for you, that's almost like studying film. I mean, literally, no pun intended. That is studying film. So you said you like to go to the gym. I mean, you're into wrestling. You're into bodybuilding. Are you a big workout guy?
I am, but the quarantine got me out of shape. But yeah, the gym's back open now here in Florida, so hopefully it doesn't shut down soon. But yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of fitness stuff over the years. I went to personal training class in high school for 2 years. So
yeah, I'm big in health and fitness. What do you are you a so we've kind of paralleled a little bit. You're into you're into the law of attraction. You're into wrestling. You're into bodybuilding. You're into fitness. So tell me this, do you have like a daily routine that you have? Or you wake up early, stick to a ritual, have good habits, or you just kind of go with the flow and let your creative juices flow?
Yeah, not so much. Like there's not a particular day I'm going like, I'm going to set this time to write something or so that. To me, it has to be organic, I guess. When
Yeah.
it comes, it comes.
Hmm.
But I mean, I always try to get up. I'll try to get up early. There's days where I sleep in late, whatever. But I mean, in terms of consistency, yeah. I mean, I like to just keep doing the same things I've done, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You're probably the same way with that, right? Like if
Yeah.
even if you miss days at the gym, you're always gonna have the gym in your life. You're always
Yeah.
gonna eat. If you're eating bad for a little bit, you're always gonna, eat right or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with me right now. I'm trying to change my eating habits. I'm actually doing a meal prep company out of Florida, a
Okay.
nutrition solutions. You heard of them?
Nah. So what is that now? Do you get them every 3 meals a day or something like that? How's
Yeah.
that work?
So the way they do it, they send you you can do several different plans. I'm doing the 7-day shred. It's like 4 meals a day. You get a
Right.
breakfast item and then 3 dinner meals or whatever,
Right.
and then you get like a clean cheat for night. So it ends up being like 5 meals a day. I usually
Right.
throw like a protein shake in or something else as well because I'm cutting a lot of weight really fast and wasn't really expecting to, but I guess it's
Right.
because I'm actually eating with an actual plan instead of eating McDonald's and Big Macs all the time. But yeah, man, it's fun. But the guy that runs that company, his name is Chris Cavallini, and he's out of
Right.
Florida, out of Tampa. I don't know how close you are to Tampa, but he's trying to do some behind the scenes type footage. I
Right.
don't know if I was you, I would reach out to that guy and see if you could do something with him because he's got it going on, and I feel like you two would like mesh perfectly. If you showed him the wrestler, and showed him what you're doing with Rich, he would
Right.
be all over you to get you to come down there and film
Oh,
at
yeah.
his place.
Well, thank
So
you for the heads up.
dude, check. I don't know how to get you in touch with him, but check that guy out and show him your stuff because I guarantee you that would be a good mix. He's big into the WWE. He's trained several of those guys: Jinder Mahal, Rey Mysterio, Edge. He's like
Right.
transformed their lives with his meal prep company, and he's a jack dude. He's got a great story, and he's trying to get it out there, but you can tell he's struggling a little bit. I'm
I
telling
think I
you.
saw you. I think that was your last one that you posted, right? I think
Yeah, dude.
he's a big dude. Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah.
yeah. He's in good shape. And he's big on personal development, big on motivation, inspiration. He's got a great comeback story. I'm telling you,
Right.
he needs somebody to put his story in film, and
Uh,
I think y'all
I'll
would be
look
a
at
good match. So
it.
you need to check him out.
I will. I will.
That'd be cool. But what else you got, man? What else is going on? Any other future projects you have planned up?
Um. Yeah, I got some stuff going. One of the guys over at Full Sail, he sent me something yesterday saying that asking me if I want to do like a mentorship for one of the producers of The Grudge and stuff like that. So like that just randomly popped in yesterday, but
Right.
it's all stuff that you know I'm sure that people have you deal with. They have these connections. It's that they just have to know when you're ready. You're
Yeah.
not gonna hand like, hey, here's a producer of The Grudge, and you're one day at a film school, whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean, stuff like that is just like you said, this when the Sports Illustrated stuff coming. More people respect you because you've hit a certain plateau, and then brand association to
Yeah.
prove that you can do it.
Right.
So I mean, the challenge now is to do it again. I mean, that's
Yeah.
going to be the challenge because Robert Rodriguez is a film director. He says that when you first come onto the scene, he directed Desperado back in the '90s, and then El Mariachi was his, film that catapulted him into where he's at now.
Yeah.
He said the first film you make, you're a one-hit wonder. The second is you're lucky, and the third is that you're here to stay. So that's why I'm trying to like get a bunch of things going at once to show the versatility because
Right.
I can guarantee you that projects that I have sitting on my shelf collecting dust or whatever are going to be completely night and day from a wrestler. Like, oh, that's the same guy did that. It's versatility is I think is the key to keep going in this
Yeah.
business or whatever.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think you got the right plan. You got good goals, and you're on the right track. I mean, you've obviously you got that first one out the way. You're working on the second one, and hopefully hit that big third one, and your name blows up, and you get out there. Hit that
Yeah,
guy up, Chris Cavallini. I don't know how it's
I
gonna
will.
work. I don't know him, but hit that dude up because I'm telling you, I feel like that'd be perfect. And you can just tell that guy's looking for somebody to tell his story. So,
Yeah.
you got anything else, man?
No, on the top of my head, I'm trying to think.
If you want to plug all your social media or where everybody else can see you, YouTube,
Yeah,
whatever.
go bigfpictures.com is our website. F Zarrillo, Fzarrillo on Instagram, or Frank Zarrillo on Facebook. Doesn't matter. You just type in my name, it'll all pop up. But yeah, I mean, we're just looking forward to get to the next level.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, that's it.
Hey man, Creative Juices. I got a book to recommend to you. It's called The Art of War, not art. See, or maybe it's The War of Art. So what's the Sun Tzu book? Is that Art of
It's
War?
Art of War, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's The War of Art by
All right,
Stephen Pressfield.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, check that out. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And this guy, literally, he's I think he's a writer. So he talks about how to beat the battles of like the resistance of not wanting to get something done, and it's all for creative mindsets. Be perfect for you. I think you'd love it.
Thank you for that recommendation.
Yeah, man. Check that out. Let me know how you like it.
That is the thing too, that most people, people message me all the time. You just remind me. I get messages. They go, "Oh, I just get. What should I do? I just got cameras, this or that." Like they start worrying about all these things that don't have anything to do with getting the project done. Like they go, "Oh, I don't have the right camera. I don't have this or right that," and they just keep building up walls for themselves. And
yeah, I
think if you do that, you're never gonna, get these things out there. Just like Tony Robbins says when he says success leaves clues. Like, I mean, I'm not doing anything new here. I'm just pretty much following what everybody else has done. Like, it's not the same road. My road's not the same. Your road's not the same. It's just the fact that I'm picking up, the breadcrumbs that they left, and I'm trying to figure out on my own. That's the only thing you can do.
Dude, that's a great point. That's all it is. Model somebody that's done it before you. And if you don't want to model just one person, find 5 people in your industry that's been doing it a good way. Yeah. Model them, do what they do, and you will find success. And obviously, you're proving that.
And it's a matter of of just hearing no so many times. Like somebody has to say, yeah, it's all probability.
Right, dude. I'm in sales too, so my main job is sales. So I hear no all the time. But when you do hear yes, it's a good thing. So, all right, Frank, I'm gonna get off here, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Gunner. I appreciate it.
When you get the next one out, the bodybuilding with Rich, I want you to come back on, talk about it, and we'll see what you got going on next. All right.
All right, thanks, Gunner. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, boss. All right, guys, that was episode 28 with Frank Zarrillo. Great conversation. That guy's really cool. Hopefully he gets in contact with Chris Cavallini and get something going there. Can't wait to watch the Rich Gaspari documentary and whatever else he has coming out. Appreciate it, guys. Remember, go over to YouTube, subscribe, hit the like, hit that bell notification so you know when we're coming on. Go to Apple Podcasts. Keep us a 5-star review podcast. We need to get to 100, please. So leave a comment, leave a review. Also go over to Spotify. Check us out there. However you want to listen, we just want you to listen. We're just here to be the voice in your ear or the person on your screen. So we'll see you next week on Chat with Gunner. Bye.